All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here today for another great show. We're going to have some great dating stories, and we're also going to be discussing a man that is 20 years old that is struggling with his purpose, a topic I am extremely passionate about. So you're not going to want to miss a single minute of this show, whether you're here live or on the replay. But before we get to all of that, let me first of all make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. As always, let me check out the back end of YouTube and make sure that everything is rolling well. And it looks like, come on, YouTube. Where is this? Okay, here we are. We're good. And let me also make sure that the notification has gone out, and it looks like it just did. And as always, a sound check. You can all join me here today for another great show. We're going to have some great dating stories, and we're also... All right. Everything is rolling smoothly. So let's go ahead and get right to it. I don't have any community news as of this point. So we're just going to get right to it. The topic of this show is a man that feels no purpose, plus more interesting dating stories. One more time, the topic of this show is a man that feels no purpose, plus more interesting dating stories. Here's how this show is going to go. We have somebody in the chat already. Cynthia, good morning. Everything sounds good. Hey, Cynthia, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Got 5 people here so far. Thank you so much for being here. And as a reminder, if you're here live, there is a 1-minute delay between what I say here and what goes out to the chat. So if it takes a little bit longer for me to respond, please forgive me. I have this as a safety mechanism when I do in-studio live streams. Now, the way the show is going to go, I'm going to actually save the best for last. I'm going to be discussing a man that feels no purpose last. This is regarding a Reddit posting that I actually made a comment on. And I really do hope that this young man that's 20 years old really at least comes and checks out the last part of this live stream on the replay, because it will tremendously help him. I struggled with pretty much the same exact thing, and I believe that many men struggle with the same thing at that age. What I was trying to say is that when I was 20 years old, I struggled with the same thing this guy is going through. So it's perfectly normal. And you can easily turn it around. And with the amount of information out on the internet nowadays, such as what I share based on my past experiences, this man and other men at that age can work through this much quicker than I did. So, yeah, if you're watching this on the replay and you want to get to that actual part, you're going to probably want to go skip to the last 20 to 30 minutes of the show. But first, I've got 3 other Reddit dating stories I'm going to be sharing. They're very interesting, and they crack me up, but they're really, truly going to help both men and women if you actually just, listen to what I say and follow the principles that have helped me become the man that I am today. And I currently am in a successful 2.5-year relationship. I live with my girlfriend, Dawn, and she even does content with me sometimes out here on my channels, primarily my secondary channel. This is my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas. I have a secondary channel also called Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. Link is below in the description. You're going to want to subscribe there because that's where I primarily do content with my girlfriend at times. Cynthia says she's doing good. Glad you're doing well, Cynthia. Glad you're doing well. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone if you're here live. Let's go ahead and get to this first posting here. This one really cracks me up because I made this mistake when I was younger too. All right. So this is from the subreddit dating_advice. And the original poster created the topic, girl invited me over to dorm at 3 a.m. One more time. Girl invited me over to dorm at 3 a.m. Boy, I wonder why any woman, and she's a woman, they're 18 years old. You'll see here in the posting. But yeah, I mean, at 18, yeah, you're a young adult. Yes, women are still considered girls and men are still considered boys, right? But when a woman invites you over to her dorm at 3 a.m. and she's there by herself, I mean, it only means one thing. But this guy, like many men at age 18, have no clue what to do. So let's go ahead and read this posting here. All right. Last night, a girl, 18 female, invited me, 18 male, over to her dorm. Oh, very nice, dude. Very nice. You must have, really charmed her with your personality and your conversation and hanging out with her outside of her dorm on previous occasions. We had been messaging each other on Instagram, and then she said, "Can we hang out soon?" Dude, that's an open invitation. Like, what more do you need? Do you need her to rent a plane and write it out in the sky for you? You never want to hang out with me. The girl is telling you, the woman is telling you that you never want to hang out with her. This guy must be really shy. I told her about saying she was going to show me her room. Well, now she wants to show you her room and a whole lot more, brother. She wants to show you a lot more than just her room. I butchered this too when I was younger. She then responds, "Come right now. My roomies are gone." I mean, dude, what the hell more do you want? Come right now. My roomies are gone. You never want to hang out with me. So eventually, I just head over and get there like at 3:30 a.m. Okay, good for you. You went over. Once I get there, she is just laying down. Well, I mean, what does that, dude? What does that mean? She's probably laying down in her bed. And this guy, look at this next line here. And I sit in her desk chair and we just talk and listen to music. That sounds really swell and like a whole lot of fun, dude. I mean, you could do that during the daytime. She invited you over to her dorm room while her roommates were not there at 3 a.m. So you could sit there and talk and listen to music and play Monopoly, right? Or talk about the weather, right? She invited you over at 3 a.m. to talk about the weather. Oh, boy. My God. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was oblivious like this when I was younger, too. I'm just laughing at it because it's so comical. Guys just cannot interpret, what the woman really wants or how she really feels about, this guy. She really likes this guy. She really likes this guy, and she's looking to see how much of a man is he. Now, he just turned 18, so, you have to kind of take that into consideration. But she's looking to see, does this guy have any balls? Is he a chance taker? Does he exude masculine energy? Maybe while he was messaging her on Instagram, he was being all manly and stuff and really cool. Now, he's over at her place. She's laying in her bed. And instead of going to sit right next to her or getting up, going up to her and say, "Hey, come here, give me a hug. It's great to see you." He goes over to the desk, not sitting anywhere near her, and is playing music and chit-chatting. Well, you have to do a little chit-chat, but I'll share with you after I read this how I would have handled this situation, if I knew at this age what I know now. Okay. Eventually, I leave super confused. What's there to be confused about, dude? She invited you over to her place at 3 a.m. She told you her roommates are gone. She's laying in bed when you walk in. I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand. Do you not want to make things work with this woman? Are you not attracted to her? Do you not want to make out and maybe have some bum chicken wow wow? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Jesus Christ, man. Not really sure what her intentions were. I'm not really sure why this cute woman I've been talking to on Instagram invited me over at 3 a.m. and she's laying in her bed. I'm not really sure what her intentions are. My God. Like, I don't know if she wanted to make a move on me. Her make a move on you? You're supposed to make a move on her, brother. She was looking to see how much of a man you were, and you failed miserably. Like, I don't know if she wanted to make a move on me or for me to sleep over. Well, dude, yeah, she probably did want you to sleep over, but you were going to have to prove that you were worthy of sleeping over by showing her how much of a man you are, right? And if you can escalate it for sex to happen, right? She is super cool and I enjoy talking to her. Yeah, that's why she felt comfortable to bring you over. There's not a woman on the planet that's going to invite you over to her place at 3 a.m. in the morning if she doesn't feel safe and comfortable with you. This woman really likes you, dude. And all you had to do is show up and be a man. That's it. Not a jerk, but be a man. Cool, calm, and collected. And I'll tell you how to handle it. I'll tell you how to handle it in a second, okay? So she is super cool and I enjoy talking to her, but she does flirt with me a lot. And I feel like she gives me mixed signals. Mixed signals, dude. She invited you over at 3 in the morning while her roommates were gone and she was laying in bed. That is as clear as night and day, brother. Wow. Wow, man. I mean, no wonder these guys are struggling nowadays. The woman can practically say, hey, put your thing in me, big boy. And this guy would still be like, what do you mean by that? My God. Does she need to show you a map, bro? Does she need to write a script out on how you should do it? Like Romeo and Juliet? Like, what the hell more do you want? AZ Prod's going to love this one. Cynthia says, let's see. Cynthia has the eyes there. Let's continue here. Just looking for advice on what I should do or should have done here. I will share my advice with you in just a second because you blew it, brother. I feel like this was a possible booty call. Well, it might have been just a booty call, but it could have led to something more. I think she really liked you, right? And she was expecting me to make a move or something. Come on, man. Of course she was expecting you to make a move or something. She invites you over to her place at 3 in the morning while her roommates are gone. She felt safe and comfortable with you after talking with her on Instagram. Maybe you both talked on the phone as well. Maybe she liked your voice. Maybe she liked your pictures. Maybe she liked everything about you. And she was looking to see how much of a man you were going to be. Because she's probably encountered other guys like you that were shy and timid, and it turned her off. She's looking for a man. I would appreciate any advice. Thanks. So here's my advice before I read some of the comments here. So again, there's not a woman on the planet that's going to invite you over to her place, whether in this case it's a dorm room and her roommates weren't there, she was by herself, or if she lives alone in an apartment or a house, there's not a woman that's going to invite you over at 3 a.m. to see her if she doesn't feel safe and comfortable with you, and if she doesn't feel attraction for you based on your pictures, if you met her online like Instagram or a dating app or dating site, and didn't like how you were texting her or didn't like any phone conversation you were having, right? This woman was really into you, dude. And all you had to do was show up like you did and then do this. This is how I would have handled the situation. You know, let's say her name was Samantha, for example, right? You go over to the dorm, you knock on the door, or maybe she left the door open, you know? Maybe she left the door open and said, just come on in. I'll be waiting for you. I mean, what more do you want? Right? So you walk in and you see her on the bed there. And you walk over to her standing up and you say, hey, Samantha, it's great to meet you. Come here and give me a big hug, right? And then she gets up, you give her a big hug and you hold her tight for like 5 or 10 seconds, right? And then all you say is, she's probably sitting on her bed. She was probably laying down. Now she's probably sitting on her bed after the hug, right? She stood up. Now she's sitting on the bed. You sit right next to her, right? And you say, it's great to finally meet you, right? And then I'd say something like this. I would say, it's kind of crazy we're doing this in the middle of the night, don't you think? And she might say, yeah, it's crazy, but I like crazy and I like you. I'm like, oh, I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, I like you too. I think you're really cool, you know? And then, you know, you have a little conversation sitting next to her and, you got to read her body language. Now, if she invited you over, she wants you and she will submit to you, even sexually, as long as you don't screw things up, right? You know, I'd maybe just, look into her eyes and say, hey, I've really enjoyed the conversation. And, wow, you look even more, as a bonus, you look even more beautiful in person. Oh, thank you so much. And then, you don't even have to wait too long in that situation if you're seeing her eyes glisten and stuff, right? Or she may be kind of starting to rub your shoulders and stuff. At that point, you say, hey, you know what? I just can't help it. Like, I've enjoyed talking with you and you're beautiful. Here we are. What the hell? You only live once. And then you go in for the kiss, right? And then if she's into you, obviously she invited you over, so she's going to be into you. She'll start kissing you, right? And you don't want to rush into the sex right away. You want to make out a little bit. You may want to, caress her neck, caress her back, right? Nibble on her earlobes. You want to give a little foreplay there, right? And then after doing that for about 5 minutes, you stop and then you look at her and you're like, wow, whew, man, and she may be like, wow, what? Why are you going to stop there? I'm just soaking this all in. I usually don't do something like this, but, wow, she might say, well, don't you feel I'm worth it? Oh, absolutely. So let's continue. And then next thing you know, you just keep on escalating. And then you start, doing what? And then she'll probably have you stay the night. And in the morning, you probably do it again. And if she enjoyed the intimacy with you and it felt great, okay, this is what you do the next morning when you get up. Say you have to head off to class or you have to go to work or do something else, right? All you do is say, hey, I got to get going. You want to be the one that leaves before she has you leave. I got to get going. I've got class to get to or work to get to, but I really, really enjoyed, spending time with you. You're really cool. If you want to hang out again, give me a call, and if you hadn't given her your number, give her your number and then you just walk out and let her keep chasing you. She might want you to come back the next night or the next time she might want to come to your place. That's how I would have handled this. Cynthia says, was responding to that comment on here, Eli, shaking my head. We don't respond to those comments, Cynthia. It's okay. It is what it is. Not a big deal. But thank you for your concern. Much appreciation. All right. Let's read a few comments here because, man, I butchered this in my younger days so many times. And I never got the second chance. Now, this guy might get a second chance. Who knows? But let's read what this person said. Schmim says, my friend, I've been super oblivious plenty often in my day. Yeah, every guy's gone through this. I probably have a few more times in me. Well, I think every guy's butchered this a few times, and then you build your confidence and you learn how to handle these situations better the next time. Look, you know, in order for something to work between a man and a woman, it has to be the woman's idea. It has to be more of the woman's idea. If the woman invites you over to her place at 3 a.m. without you even asking, just based off of talking on Instagram or talking on the phone, right? Or, talking on a dating app and then talking on the phone. If she invites you over at 3 a.m, she's really, really super into you. And she feels safe and comfortable with you because she gathered that from the way you talked with her, right? And she liked your pictures and she wants to see how much of a man you are. You stood out compared to every other man that she's talking to or is trying to talk with her, right? You stood out. I will say a couple of things though. Number one, when you're alone with a girl like that, it is better to be a little too hesitant than a little too proactive. No, that's true. You have to ease into it slowly, right? You cannot be hesitant completely like he was, but you can't just walk in there and then try to tear her clothes off. Can't do that, right? You got to walk in there and you got to give her a hug. And that'll start to build more of that, sexual tension, right? And then you start talking with her, you read her body language, and you slowly escalate until you eventually end up being intimate with her, right? You were just too passive. Oh, man. It's like he didn't even show up. He was there, but he wasn't there. Which isn't a terrible thing. No, it is terrible because you lacked masculinity and you lost a great opportunity that you may not get a second chance on. And it could have turned into something real. There's nothing wrong with doing this, There's nothing wrong with even meeting a woman at that hour if it feels right. A lot of people might say it's crazy. You never know who's out there. You can't trust anyone. But everyone's done this a time or two. And let me tell you, even in these crazy late night meetings that escalate to sex can lead to a great relationship. You'll have other opportunities to have sex. Well, if he keeps playing his cards this way, then he's going to not have those opportunities because the women will be turned off for him not being man enough. Okay. Number two, if she's super into you, you'll get another chance. If she just wanted to fuck and you don't get another chance, like I said before, you'll have other opportunities to have sex. Well, that is true. If she just wanted a booty call, she's not going to call him again because, he didn't make any move, right? But if she really likes this guy, she'll probably give him one more chance and probably try to make it a little more obvious that she wants it to go a little further. And if that second time he doesn't go for it or do the right things, then, she'll move on from him. So you're right about that. This is a 50-50 chance. In this case, you just walk away and you don't reach out to her. You have to let her reach out to you here. The ball's in her court now. Rule of thumb, when living in the dorms, if you're invited to someone's room with the explicit information that the roommates are gone, especially when it's dark and the clock says AM, it's at the very least an invitation for canoodling, a great word. Well, yeah, she wanted to bang. She And she was laying in the bed when he walked in there, for Christ's sake. I don't know how much more obvious this woman could have been. But great comment there. Let's read a few more comments before we get to the next posting here. Okay. AZ Prod, good morning, brother. Have you been listening to this one so far, dude, or did you just tune in? Yeah, Cynthia says, AZ Prod says, howdy, AZ Prod. Cynthia says, hi, AZ. AZ Prod says, good morning, Cynthia. If you missed it, bro, you have to go back and check out the first part on the replay. I mean, this was a great one. Book E. Baluch says in the comment section, this is the goated advice. In a world where females are often sexually mistreated or assaulted, it is better for you to be too safe than too proactive. You're misunderstanding. Okay, I understand, that yes, there are women out there that can report you for sexual assault or stuff like that. But in this case, she invited him over at 3 a.m. and she was laying in her bed when he got there, and she probably left the door open. Now, I'm not saying that a woman in this situation isn't capable of setting the guy up and calling the cops, but that's a very rare thing. This was her idea. She wanted this guy to make a move. She was into him. She wanted to have sex with him and see where it goes. You can't overthink that, right? You're going to be able to tell if a woman is into you once you go on several dates and you make these mistakes. You'll learn how to pick up on when a woman's really into you or not. Okay? So you're not going to really have to fear, the woman feeling like you're sexually mistreating her or assaulting her. I mean, you're taking this way too far. You're scaring guys to even show up when you say that. Just message her. No, don't message her. The ball's in her court, and ask her what her intentions were. No, you got to wait for her. You cannot message her in this case. You screwed up. You're being too nice of a guy. And if you message her now, she's going to think that you're weak and she's going to friend zone you. She's going to think that you're desperate. Okay? Let her message you. If she doesn't, move on. There are plenty of other women out there. If she wanted more, you can just tell her that you wanted to make her feel safe for the first encounter and didn't want to read too much into it. Do you young guys have a few screws loose? Ask her what her intentions were. She invited this guy over at 3 a.m. in the morning and said, my roommates are not here. I have the place to myself. I can't wait to see you. And she was even saying, if we go back up here, she was even saying, you never want to hang out with me. She's like complaining that the dude doesn't want to hang out with her. This chick wants to see this guy at 3 a.m. She likes the guy. She wants to be with the guy. How much more fucking obvious can you make it? Can you make it, right? So if she wanted, just message her and ask her what her intentions were. Nope. If she wanted more, you can just tell her that you wanted to make her feel safe for the first encounter and didn't want to read too much into it. Well, he read way too much into it. That's the problem. Turn your loss in a win. Well, the way you're going to turn this loss into a win is not do a thing. Let her reach out to you. If she's still interested, she'll reach out to him. And the second time, dude, you better make a move. That's all I got to say. My God. AZ Prod is laughing. Just got here, brother. Yeah, I think you get the gist now, dude. You can go back and read the first part. But yeah, dude, I mean, AZ Prod, if you're talking to a woman online and you're taking the next day off from work and you liked her, she's attractive, and she invited you over to her place at 3 a.m, please tell me that you would get in your car and go over there and be a cool dude, but you would at least make a move. You know, you would read her body language and make a move. This guy is 18 years old and she's 18. He's young, but I mean, man, how oblivious can one man be? I don't even think I would have been that oblivious at age 18, but I have made this mistake in the past. But if a woman was this freaking obvious, I mean, even at age 18, I would have read the sign. Meme Stocks YOLO 69-420. Great Reddit name there. I don't think a woman at her age is going to fess up that she wanted more. Women don't even do that at my age. Most women are not going to come out and say, hey, come over and fuck me, big boy. They're not going to tell. What the hell do you guys want? Oh, you want it written in the sky? I want you to come over right now and put your pee-pee in this area. And I'm going to draw you a diagram on where that area is. I mean, God. I swear to God, this stuff makes me laugh at my age because I've made these mistakes. Maybe not as bad, but pretty close. Oh, man, these guys need help nowadays. I can't wait to start the Modern Man Resources Foundation to help these guys. Ah, man. If she was too shy to make a move in person, she's probably going to be, I think he left the word out, too shy to admit why she invited him over. If she was too shy to make a move in person, she's probably going to be too shy, he left out the word, to admit why she invited him over. Does she have to tell the guy why she's inviting him over at 3 a.m. and she tells the guy that my roommates are not here. It's going to be just you and I all alone in the middle of the night. And I'm going to have the lights turned down low. Right? I don't know. I don't know. Bookie Baluch responds again and says, no matter the age, attempting clear communication is always the way to go. You guys are talking nerdy. Like the woman doesn't want to talk a lot. You got to go in there and say, hey, great to meet you. Come here and give me a big hug. Right? Yeah, you got to talk, but you got to minimize it and you got to get down to business. I mean, for Christ's sake, the woman was laying in her bed when you walked in. She's practically saying, come here, give me a hug, sit next to me. I'm keeping the bed warm for the both of us. I want you to be joining me in this bed within the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you give me a hug and you look me in the eye and, you know, we have a brief conversation, you saying, hey, it's great to meet you. You're even more beautiful in person as a bonus, blah, blah, blah. And then try to give me a kiss. And then she'd probably pull him over and get him under the covers with her. And once that happens, I mean, what further instructions do you need, brother? These guys are, I mean, this is really funny stuff, man. This is really, really funny stuff. AZ Prot says, of course, I can understand at 18, though, if you said he was 30, we might have a problem. Well, sure, dude. But even at 18, I mean, dude, how much more clear does a woman have to be, bro? Oh, I wonder why this hot chick I've been talking to on Instagram and by phone that I've been getting along with, and she's telling me she likes me. I wonder why she's inviting me over to her dorm when her roommates are not there at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? I mean, come on, man. Wow. Gotta help these guys. Gotta help them get the girl. Meme Stocks YOLO 69-420. That's a great Reddit name. Especially the 69-420. That's fantastic. Sometimes women tend to be a little more subtle with flirting. Of course, because They want to see how much of a man you are. They want you to lead the encounter. Basically, she paved the road for you, and all you have to do is walk on the road, dude. Asking her, did you invite me over at 3:30 a.m. to have sex, might just make her lie and then avoid seeing you again. It's not going to make her lie. It's going to make her question his intelligence and his confidence. She's looking to see how confident this guy is. And then she'll probably say, oh, no, I just want to hang out. No. You don't ask that, man. You already have to assume why she's inviting you there. You have to assume that she's inviting you there because if she feels it for you in person and you say the right things and you slowly escalate the romantic vibe she's already telling you she has for you, basically without saying it, right? Then it's going to lead to sex. Correct situation -76 says, ask her consent every step of the way. Make it easy for her to say no. Asking a woman for consent is not going to turn her on. Now, if you make a move and she says stop, you got to stop. But you don't walk in there after she invites you there at 3 a.m. and then she's laying in her bed, right? You don't walk in there and say, excuse me, Samantha, I just want to get your permission and have your consent for me to put my pee-pee inside of you. I assume that's why you invited me over to your place at 3 a.m. While your roommates were gone. It is okay if I join you, or is it okay if I join you on the bed? That's cool. Except don't say it like that. That sounds like a pussy. You want to say, hey, you mind if I sit here next to you? Yeah, no problem. Do you mind if I sit here next to you? Is it okay if I join you on the bed? Since you invited me here at 3 a.m. after you said your roommates weren't here? No worries if you'd rather I didn't. You don't say that, guys. God, you guys are God, man, these men need help, brother. Is it okay if I put my arm around you? No, you don't ask that. You try to put your arm around her, and if she shrugs it off, then you stop. But if she's inviting you there at 3 a.m. while her roommates are gone, she wants you to put your arm around her and escalate, dude. No worries if you'd rather not. Is it okay if we kiss? Is it Is it okay if we kiss? No worries if you'd rather not. Oh. Is it okay if I touch your body part? No worries if you'd rather not. Do you want me to leave? Sabrina Garza, how you doing? Good morning, Eli. It is nice to see you live this early in the morning. Yeah, thank you for finding me over here on the main channel. I've been doing the in-studio shows from the main channel because I haven't put out any content out here in a while, and I don't want to lose my monetization status on the main channel here. But thank you for being here, Sabrina. AZ Prod says, I hope the boy was just nervous. Yeah, he probably was really nervous, man. But he showed up. I mean, he physically showed up, but you know, him showing up physically, you know, he didn't really show up by showing up, which is what I'm trying to say. Let me read one more comment here, and then we're going to go to the next one here. Exotic Kangaroo 106, another great Reddit name there. LOL, once you're kissing, I don't think you need to stop and ask permission to touch her bum, breast, etc. That is just weird and will kill the vibe. I want to give you a big round of applause. Here we go. I'm sorry, I had to find my applause button. Once you're kissing, LOL, I don't think you need to stop and ask permission to touch her bum, breast, etc. That is just weird and will kill the vibe. Absolutely. I'll turn her off. If she isn't comfortable doing that, she will say so, and then you obviously stop. Another big round of applause. You guys are all worried that the woman's going to call the cops and say you sexually assaulted her or something like that. No. If a woman doesn't want you to do something, if you try to make a move and she says stop, you stop. That's all. But if she's bringing you there at 3 a.m. and says her roommates are not there, she's probably not going to have you stop. God. One more here. Esbutula says there's only one reason someone gets invited over at 3 a.m. when the roomies are gone. Let me repeat that one more time. There's only one reason someone gets invited over at 3 a.m. when the roomies are gone. We all know what that is. He doesn't. Big round of applause. I wonder what Dawn would think about this posting here. I swear, if Dawn, my girlfriend Dawn, was reviewing this with me, she would probably say, babe, if you didn't make that move on me when we first met, I would have thought you were the biggest PUSSY and I would have moved on. I mean, wow. Anyway, let's go to the next one here, and then we're going to take a break before we get to the last two. All right, this is from the subreddit r dating over 30. And the title of the original poster is, does anyone else prefer to skip or use less frequently OLD apps, which is online dating apps? One more time, the topic is, does anyone else prefer to skip or use less frequently online dating apps? And I'll say right off the bat, because I've already read all these. Right off the bat, it doesn't matter how you meet a woman. What matters is how you show up, how you carry the conversation, whether you meet them in person or whether it's online. Let's read what this person stated. I've been using them for quite some time, but now I've recently realized that I'm much happier being off them. Well, you just don't know how to use online dating apps. I've done many streams in the past between this channel here, my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, and my other channel, Coach Eli, 2 Authentic Live Streams. You can search for, dating apps, Coach Eli, and you'll find many streams I shared how to properly use online dating. All right, you got to get on the app, and you got to message 50 to 100 women per day. Use apps like Match.com, where you can still message women traditionally. Using the swipe left and swipe right apps are more superficial. I'm not saying they don't work, but I would use Match.com and send 50 to 100 messages per day. Okay? And if you're, a really good looking guy, you'll get a lot of responses. But if you're an average looking guy, out of the 100 messages you send, you'll probably get anywhere from 3 to 10 responses. And out of those, you might get 1 or 2 dates. You're giving up because you don't know how to use online dating, and you don't realize that each woman is getting hammered by hundreds of men. And so if she's not responding to you, it doesn't mean she's not interested or would not have been interested, but she's probably already found someone she's primarily communicating with. So that's why you got to use online dating by way of the law of large numbers, which is what I'm trying to say, because you just don't know if the women you're messaging, are talking to multiple other men already, or she's found that man. You also don't know if they have a paid membership and can't, or if they don't have a paid membership and can't respond, right? Or you don't know if they're going to be attracted to you. So you gotta message a lot of women on online dating daily, or you're just not gonna get anywhere. When I started using them, there was pretty much just OkCupid. OkCupid sucks now. It was okay back in those days. The experience was okay, but what made it okay was that I could at least set a profile, and it was up to me or other users to establish contact. Correct. So what I'm saying is that there are still dating apps / dating sites like Match.com where you could put out a full profile and you could send actual messages. If you're using a swipe left and swipe right system, kind of like Hinge or, or Bumble or Tinder, then, you're going purely off of looks and the profile doesn't matter. So I get that. Okay. This meant we were reading each other's profiles and could decide if it was worth meeting. Correct. You can also message back and forth. You could trade numbers and have a conversation after seeing each other's profiles. Right? On Match.com, you could write a long profile. You could also write in that profile what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. Right? And you might get some negative responses if you mention what you're not looking for. But there will also be some women that respect when you put what you're not looking for, because those women will look at it as, hey, this guy knows what he wants and he's really ready for something real. So I get what this guy's saying here. I was inexperienced though, and I overly relied on looking for people with common interests. I think a lot of people did this. Well, that's what you should be doing, because people that say opposites attract, I disagree with them. I've always said that opposites don't attract. Now, two people, a man and a woman, are not going to be 100%, the same. And if you were, it'd be kind of boring. But you need to find someone that primarily enjoys the same or similar things as you do, or it's just going to have less of a chance of working out. I think a lot of people did this. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You should be looking at common interests, and sure, it's going to take you longer to find someone to get a date with when you are looking more so for people with common interests. But even if you get a date with women more often that don't have as many common interests, those dates will probably not work out. So it's a waste of your time going on those dates that aren't going to lead anywhere, right? Okay. Then came apps on smartphones that were swipe based, which changed everything. I was talking about that. They're very superficial. They're all based on looks. And if you're not at least a 7 out of 10 on the attraction scale, you're going to have a very difficult time getting someone to respond to you just based on your looks. Yeah. I mean, the world is a bit superficial, but that's how it is. That's just the way it goes. And that's why you guys got to take better care of yourselves, right? Dress nice, stay healthy and fit, right? Then you got to learn game. You got to learn how to talk with people, talk with women, right? Instead of self-curating, apps started using algorithms to show you profiles, and it all came down to photos rather than content on our profiles. Exactly. So don't use those apps. Use the ones that still have the profile features. Now, you can create a bit of a profile on Hinge, but you can create a full-blown profile still to this day on Match.com. So use the dating apps that better suit you. Typically, the swipe left and swipe right dating apps are more for quick hookups. You want something real? Use Match.com. Bumble's a good second choice. And there aren't really too many other decent ones that I know of. I've been off the market for 2.5 years. I'm with my girlfriend, Dawn. And, I haven't kept up. There's no reason to. But I'm sure it's pretty much the same thing. Then other sites started following suit since there was a lot of money to be made following this model. Yeah, even Match.com started to do the swipe left and swipe right, but they still had the same, full-blown profile, and you could still message. You can still message women without doing the swipe left and swipe right. In the meantime, and after some relationships with people I've met, I've learned a lot about myself, which turned me off from apps. The primary one being that, like with friendships or any other important relationship in my life, romantic relationships and attraction beyond physical attraction takes time to build. Not necessarily. Basically, you got to get to the point quick. If you use Match.com, you want to talk to a woman you're attracted to physically, and that, after reading her profile, you feel you have more similar interests than not, right? Then you leave them a message, and if they get back to you, send a few messages back and forth, and then trade numbers and have a phone conversation and see how that flows. And if that flows, then ask her to meet as soon as possible. This all has to happen within a 1 to 3 day period. It has to go boom, 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 because if a woman's really into you, she's going to want to meet you as soon as possible. So your job, if a woman starts talking with you, is to keep escalating from messaging on the app to talking on the phone that night, or at least by the next day or night. And then after that phone call, if you hear each other's voices and it feels right, set up a date to meet within the next day or two. And if that doesn't happen, it's not going to work. And if you get a woman that says, I'm not free for the next 2 to 3 months, or I'm traveling, I'm not free until next week or the following week, it's not going to work. If a woman's really into you, she'll want to meet you right away. Even if she's busy, she will make time and find time to meet you, right? Don't waste your time. If a woman's into you, trust me, she will be as obvious as that 18-year-old woman in the dorm was by inviting that guy over at 3 a.m. while the roommates were, out. She'll be that obvious, and hopefully you'll be able to read that sign so you don't butcher it like that 18-year-old guy did. Okay. Online dating feels way too rushed in contrast to the kinds of platonic and romantic relationships built offline. Dude, you're really old school. In this modern world, things are fast-paced. You got to get to the point. There's too much competition in the dating world, right? That's just the way it is. I don't like competition. I didn't like it myself, but that's the way it is. If you snooze nowadays, you lose. Don't be a sissy, dude. Go for it. You're a man. You see a beautiful woman, your job is to try to get a date. And if you get on that date, you want to hang out, have fun, and hook up. That's it. Hang out with her, show her a good time, have some fun, some intimacy, hook up, right? And that's it. And don't try to lock her down. If the night ends, or when the first night ends, if you've hooked up and you're about to leave, say, hey, I had a great time. I'd love to see you again. Call me sometime if you want to hang out. Okay? And if she calls you for a second date, then now she's really more interested. If she doesn't call you, then she's not, right? It has to be the woman's idea for it to work out, okay? Let me read the chat here real quick. Sandra Palacio, how are you doing? Hey, Eli. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sandra. There's a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Great to see you here. AZ Prot says, welcome, Sandra. Sandra Palacio, hi, AZ. Cynthia says, hi, Sandra. Sandra Palacio, hello, Cynthia. Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Sandra, I've been getting your messages behind the scenes, and hopefully you're doing well. I know you're listening to the shows, but you're busy also working. How about those 49ers, Sandra? How about those 49ers? Those first 2 playoff games were nail-biters. They found a way to win, though, and now we're in the Super Bowl. Coming up this Sunday from Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah. Hoo-wee. All right. Let's continue. Online dating was conditioning me to think of it almost like love at first sight. Sometimes that happens. What's wrong with love at first sight? If it's meant to be, Why not? Fireworks, sparks, chemistry, etc. If there's no spark initially within that first 3 seconds when you lay eyes on each other, it'll never be there. If a man or a woman says, let's just, take time to get to know each other. Let's take this really slow. You know how many times I heard that? I heard that a million times. And you know how many times I passed up on women that said, let's take things slow. Let's really get to know each other. I passed up on that every time. That's BS. If women are into you, they're going to want, when a woman is into you, even for the right reasons, she's going to want to sleep with you more than you want to sleep with her. Okay? And she's going to want to sleep with you as soon as possible. Trust me on that, guys. Trust me on that. Okay? With a complete stranger during an initial interaction. Do you know how many times the relationships I've been in that worked happened because of that initial spark on the first date? And there was making out, and sometimes a little bit more than that. And if there wasn't intimacy on the first date, it typically happened by the second or third date. Folks, give me a second. I will be right back. Okay? I will be right back. We're back. We are just going to scratch it. Whoops, let's try that again. I'm going to scratch it and get right back down to business. Sorry, folks. I had to help Don out real quick. Let me get back here to the browser source here. I needed to help Dawn out real quick with something because until she has her ankle fully healed, I need to be assisting her when she walks around to do things. She's doing a lot better, and she can walk, but we're supposed to nurse that leg, for another 2 to 3 months for it to fully heal perfectly. But she's doing well, and my apologies for that. So let's get right back to it. Let me first of all make sure that the audio is still working okay after coming back. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. Do. scratch it and get right back down to business. Sorry, folks. All right, all is good. Let's continue here because we'll be taking a break really soon. Those chemical cocktails would start going off in my brain and would make me confused with connection. Well, if you're feeling that, you have to see if the woman feels that. Just because you're feeling that chemical connection, those chemical cocktails will start going off in my brain. You can typically tell if the woman feels the same way by, talking with her before you meet her. Like, you got to talk by phone. You got to hear her voice. You got to hear the excitement in her voice. A woman that really likes you, even before you meet her, from a dating app, you're going to be able to hear the excitement in her voice. So you have to learn, you young guys have to learn to identify this better. And that's where I can come in and help you with my 50 years of life experience. I'm sure others would agree with this too. Well, yeah, because other guys your age are inexperienced. Now, you didn't mention your age, but I'm assuming you're in your 20s. That's what I'm assuming here. The people who were passing that first interaction were those who were naturally just charming or knew how to impress people, which I realized had no bearing on having the friendship. You don't want a friendship, dude. You're looking for a romantic relationship. And yes, you got to be naturally charming. And, you're not born to be a natural charmer. You learn from your mistakes. You learn how to better communicate with people. And even guys, you learn how to better communicate with women. And once you learn that, women are going to be impressed with your communication style because most women are used to dealing with guys that don't know how to talk to people, let alone women, right? So yeah, for other people, I'm sure it can also lead to poor decision making during the moment. When it's combined with the fear of missing out and the paradox of choice swipe element, it was leading me to burn out and overlook a lot of good people. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have, a lot of, how do I say this the right way? You're going to have a lot of disappointments with online dating, but you're going to have a lot of disappointments with dating in general. You just have to learn how to take chances, and you got to figure out as quickly as possible if someone's really into you or not, and don't waste your time, trying to, make something work with someone that's not interested, right? And if you keep getting rejected, don't let that affect you from continuing to pursue forward, because eventually, right around the corner, you'll find that woman that will just be totally into you. Trust me, I've been there before, even in my 40s, even, before I met Dawn, I was talking to many women and it was frustrating. And you do feel like giving up, but I said, screw it. I never give up. And right when I was about to give up, I gave it another chance. And that's when I met Dawn, and I've been with her for 2.5 years. Don't let it get to you. It's just all part of the game. It's all part of the process. That's all. It's part of life, right? The other thing I learned is that I focused way too much on compatibility of interest. Nothing wrong with that. That's what you should be doing, because if you just meet any random person and there's no compatibility, or at least you feel that there isn't, then it's just not going to work out. You're wasting your time, gas, and all that to meet someone that's not going to be into you. I was looking for someone similar to me in terms of interest. That's what you should be doing. Instead, I realized that having important fundamental outlooks is way more important. Well, having important fundamental outlooks is basically having more things in common that you both like than not. You're just saying this in different ways, right? And going back to my first realization, those outlooks aren't things that are immediately obvious, which goes back to me overlooking people who probably could have been good matches for me. You're not asking enough questions, dude. You got to, when you talk with women, before you meet a woman, this is the problem. You guys are texting women. You're not exchanging phone numbers and talking off the app and hearing each other's voices, right? And listen, all these apps now have built-in phones. They have built-in phones, so that way the woman doesn't have to give you her number. I would never use the built-in phone app, and I suggest you guys don't. I would ask the woman for her number and say, hey, can we have one brief phone conversation and see how that goes? And if it goes well, then maybe we can meet, right? They'll get back and say, well, I don't exchange my number, right away, but we can talk here through the app. At that point, I would say, well, I've tried to use the built-in phone and video in the app before, and it really glitches out, and I don't want to take a chance of us getting cut off. So I would love to exchange numbers if that's okay with you, and we can just have a nice conversation, by voice, right? Okay? And do it by voice. You don't have to do it by video, because you want to focus more on each other's voices and what you're saying instead of looking at each other. You've already seen each other's pictures, right? And if someone is worried that if you don't go on video with them, that you're going to be catfishing them, then that's not the right person to be talking to. They're too superficial. Okay. You'll figure this all out. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. They only become obvious after getting to know someone after a while. No, you'll figure it out sooner. To give an example, expressing gratitude is important for me, but it is something I can only observe after knowing someone for a while. It can also cause me to view someone more attractively if I notice they have this quality. This, again, is why I've realized I'd rather get to know someone over time in a non-dating context. You're just not doing the right thing on the apps, okay? You can do the same thing on the apps that you do in person, except you take to the phone. In person, you meet someone wherever you're at. You can have a conversation right there like you would have one on the phone. In the online dating world, you connect, you send a few messages back and forth. If that clicks, you trade numbers, you talk on the phone that night or the next day or night. And if that goes well after hearing each other's voices, then you meet within the next day or two and see if the chemistry is there in person, which you will know within 3 minutes of looking into each other's eyes if there's chemistry or not. That's it. Yeah, this one was pretty long. Let me check out the chat real quick. Niner Gang, Bang Bang. Yeah, my favorite song. The one I was playing, or did you see me post the 49ers song, We're the 49ers? Check out the community wall here on Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, or on Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. I shared the Niner theme song that was recorded by the actual 49ers in 1984, and 39 years later, that song, it still hits me. It's a great freaking song. We're the 49ers. We will rock you till we win the fight. We've got the power, got the heart. We've got the soul. We're the 49ers. It was a great song. Great song. One of the best songs ever written by any professional, sporting team. And the Niners, a lot of people are saying this, and I may sound biased, but the 49ers are the absolute all-time greatest franchise in NFL history, period. End of story. God rest my father's soul. He was a huge 49er fan. He would have loved to watch the Super Bowl this year. He's probably going to watch it in heaven with God. Anyway, let's continue. Third, and this is something maybe a handful here might relate to, but I remember reading about race and online dating statistics a while ago and how people of color are often seen as less desirable. No, they're not. I went on dates with every race. No color lines when it comes to dating. You never know where chemistry is going to happen. Race has nothing to do with it. And, if you have people every now and then that make a big deal about race regarding dating, then that's on them. You do what feels right for you. You don't have to listen to what any other guy or woman says about how they use online dating. You use it the way you want to use it. And if you use it the way that I teach you folks how to use it, trust me, you will be successful eventually. Okay? As someone who is a POC, I don't know what that means. Someone help me out. What is a POC? I had that 45, Eli. Wow, back in the day, Sandra? Wow, that's a classic. That's worth something. Oh, the one I was playing on break. You also said you have the 45 of the 49er song. That was a great song. That was a great song. Yeah, what is POC? Nasty Jester, what's up? Are you trolling? We're keeping an eye on you, Nasty Jester. Let's see. POC meaning. Oh, people of color. Okay, I didn't even know that. Like, I treat everyone equally. So I didn't even know that. Keep an eye on Nasty Jester, Sandra, and anyone else, and ban them if they're trolling. As someone who is a POC, oh, you're a person of color. Okay, so you're probably, what, African American? I would think about this when using an app. It is one thing to be rejected because of your profile or pictures, but it is another when someone only sees your ethnicity as the basis for rejection. Well, look, that's up to each individual, right? Some people want to date within their race. Some people are open to all races. And that doesn't necessarily make someone a racist. It means that they have a preference of dating within their race. So, I mean, dude, you're going to get rejected more often than not for many more reasons besides the color of your skin. It has nothing to do with that. To add to this, when you find someone, you also have to vet to see if they care about your lived experiences. You have to vet them for everything. You should be doing that through the messages in the app on the first day. And then that night, same night, or by the next day or night, get on the phone and then vet them. Ask them a lot of questions. You guys are afraid to ask women questions. Women that are truly into you will answer all of the questions you ask because they're going to be happy that you're truly trying to get to know them. You guys are afraid that a woman will say, "You're asking too many questions. What is this, an interview?" I've had that happen before, and I'll say the same thing I've shared every time when I've talked about this. When a woman told me in the past, when a woman would tell me in the past, what is this, an interview? What is this, 20 questions? You damn right it's an interview. I want to make sure you're not wasting my time before I get in my car, waste gas and time to come and see your ass. Come on. Come on. Obviously, this all happens offline too. Yeah, it's the same thing. Online and offline, it's the same thing. It's just one way is digital, and one way you meet the person right away. Okay, you're going to have successes and failures both online and offline. And actually, to be honest with you, it's much easier, using online dating. Believe me, it is. You're going to get rejected a lot more often with cold approach in the real world than using the dating app. I'm telling you, that's just the way it goes. Obviously, this all happens offline too, and I know people who have mentioned how they only would date someone who is white. That's their preference. Doesn't mean that they're a racist, or doesn't mean that, doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that's their preference. But most social contexts in real life don't involve dating. A lot of mental energy isn't given to it. Most social contexts in real life don't involve dating, so a lot of mental energy isn't given to it. Dude, you're really reading way too far into this. You sound like a nerd. Like you sound like you're like a robot nerd, and you're overthinking things, man. You got to loosen up and have some fun. And that's one of the main reasons why you're probably getting rejected. You're not being flirty and fun. Dating is fun, dude. It's not boring, or it's not about how to say this the right way. It's not about reading too far into things. It's about being relaxed and just seeing where things go. I haven't deleted my profile, but I think for the meantime, I'm going to focus on other things. I'm finding that spending my evenings or weekends with my friends or hobbies has been way more enjoyable than any of the online dating apps I've had. If I meet someone, great, but I'm not doing it with the intention of trying to date people. Now you're bullshitting us, dude, and more so, you're bullshitting yourself. You're just, you're disappointed, and you're tired of being rejected. We all get rejected. We all get rejected like tons of times on these apps. And even women get rejected too. Maybe not as often as men because they have more options due to the thirsty beta males out there. But dude, like, honestly, this is the way it goes. And when you eventually figure that out and learn how to use the apps and learn how to just play the law of large numbers, then you'll have better success, man. Anyone else in the same boat? I think everyone's in the same boat. Other people just know how to handle it better. I'm going to read a couple of postings or a couple of comments here because this was long, and I'm going to take the first break. We are at an hour and 15 minutes. Nasty Jester. I'm cool. Not trolling. AZ Proud, person of color. Thank you. Nasty Jester, Niners will win it. Okay, cool, bro. Well, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Nasty Jester. All right. Another rando Canadian says, I think dating apps, online dating are good tools to meet people to date. Ultimately, they are just another convenient place to meet people. Exactly. I had to say that all along. That's how you should use them. People you would never meet otherwise. Right. You have way more options online. Dawn lived in Hollister, 74 miles away from me. I would have never met her if it wasn't for Match.com. Now she lives with me and we're happy. Nothing prevents you from only using them passively. My approach. Right. So what he means by passively is that he just puts himself out there. He'll probably message a bunch of women every day. If he gets a response and it's worthy, he'll respond. He'll try to take it to the phone. He'll try to meet them. If it doesn't work out, he'll move on to the next. Right? He fits in using the apps into his schedule throughout the day. He doesn't let the apps run him. He runs the apps. You cannot let the apps control you. You got to control the apps. You got to be the orchestra conductor. That's how you have to handle it, right? The problem lies mainly with the users and the online dating culture that arose rather than the apps themselves. Yeah, it's how you use them, right? People multi-dating, chasing instant connection, chemistry sparks, ghosting, breadcrumbing, etc. I've dealt with all that. Everyone is multi-dating initially until they settle down with that person, right? Chasing instant connection, chemistry sparks. Well, that's how it should be overall. In person or online. Or dating apps, same thing as online dating. You want that instant connection, chemistry, and sparks, because if not, nothing will ever happen. Ghosting happens all the time. People are talking to multiple people, right? And when that one stands out that they choose to focus on, right, the other people get ghosted automatically. Men do the same thing. You guys, you can't sit there and blame women for ghosting you when you would do the same thing. If you were talking to 5 women and then one of them panned out and the other 4 still wanted to talk, you would ghost them too. So don't be a hypocrite. Breadcrumbing is something that I don't like. A lot of women used to do this to me. I know there are probably guys doing this too. Like, they're not really interested in meeting anyone, but they use the dating apps, just to see how many people they can get for validation. Some people do that, right? Also, breadcrumbing could be where, let's say, a woman is talking to 5 guys and she's really interested in one guy more than the other 4. What she will do is she will breadcrumb the other 4, lead them to believe that they're still interested. And in case the one that they really want doesn't pan out. But here's the thing, guys. We do the same thing. Guys, this is the funny thing. Men and women do the same thing. The reason why men complain more is because women have more options because the thirsty beta males are sending them they're all bombarding the inboxes of these women. Women get on average 100 plus messages per day. Men get 5 to 10, right? So women have more options. But both men and women, let's be real, both men and women do the same thing. Multi-date, chasing instant connection, chemistry, sparks, ghosting, breadcrumbing, etc. I do have a gripe against the swipe model. However, the apps are designed to bring in revenue and not to facilitate good romantic connections. Well, if they don't ever get people results, people will stop paying for them. Any app will work as long as you know how to work it. Okay? And yes, they're all there to make money. They're a business. But they're also providing you a service that you wouldn't get otherwise. If they were serious about facilitating connections, they wouldn't pre-select profiles to show you and would let you browse all profiles. Well, a lot of these apps, what they try to do is keep you on their platform longer. Because the moment that you find someone, you're not renewing your monthly membership, right? So yeah, from a business standpoint, that's what they do, right? Excuse me. But don't let that get to you. You try to find someone as quickly as possible, message more and more women daily, and the moment that you find that right person, then you can cancel your membership. Don't let the apps work you. You work the apps, okay? Okay. You can filter profiles by more meaningful attributes, interests, values, etc. The pre-match version of OkCupid was very good. Right. So now go to Match.com because Match.com is still the same as it always has been. Right when I was just meeting Dawn, and I was still on Match back then, meeting Dawn through Match, they started to do the swipe left and swipe right, I believe, on Match back then. But they still have the original, way to search for profiles, and to fill out a full profile and to be able to send messages right away as long as you have a paid membership. And honestly, when I used to use Match.com, I would log in from my laptop because it was a lot easier to message people that way than on a smartphone. I'd use the smartphone to respond and to get notifications, so I knew when somebody was responding, but I would use the laptop. It was easier to filter through profiles on Match.com through a laptop. Yes, a lot of these newer swipe left, swipe right dating apps don't allow you to really set any filters. I mean, they kind of do, but they randomly will send you pictures of people. So I get where you're coming from. Use sites like Match.com that still work the old school way before the swiping thing, that was started by Tinder changed this, right? I get it. All right. Let me see here. Nasty Jester, I'm sorry. Sandra Palacio accidentally blocked you and then unblocked you. But I see your messages here. It was her cat that hit her phone. Nasty Jester says, Purdy was the best deal in NFL history, and the Niners were smart enough to draft him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Niners have had a hell of a year, but the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, man, I'll tell you, I was watching the games with Don because, we would have gone to the bar with my brother and his girlfriend and our friends, but, because of Don's injury, yeah, no worries, Sandra. My catch up on the phone. No problem. No worries. We stayed home, and Don and I are gonna watch the Super Bowl at home, just her and I. And then, once she heals up next year, we'll start going out again. We miss going to the sports bars and stuff like that. Anyway, let's see here. Let me read a couple more. I think people multi-dated and were shitty at communication way before the apps ever came around. But what they brought on is that you are meeting people with whom your paths wouldn't otherwise cross at all. Yeah, that's true. I'm proof of that. Dawn lived 74 miles away from me. Would have never met her otherwise. Hence, it is much easier to behave socially inconsiderately. Can't as easily ghost someone you are going to run into daily or weekly afterwards. Right. That's why you never date people from work, because if it doesn't work out, it affects your job. Okay? I never ever once dated somebody I worked with. I always met people online because, or I would meet them in other, places, other places going out with friends and stuff, but never at work. You're right. A lot of people feel like they can get away with shit behavior because apps allow people to date people outside of our social circles, which normally hold us accountable. There's also the fact that apps commodify people in a way. There will always be someone else a swipe away. That happens in the real world too. You guys are overthinking this. You guys, I get it. The apps were made to keep you on there longer and to make money. But if you know how to use the apps, you can bypass all that and focus on sending out your messages. And, if you send 100 messages a day, like on Mesh.com, you'll get 5 to 10 responses as a man, and you'll get 1 to 2 dates out of that. That's it. That's all you have to do. And go and search for, like I mentioned earlier, my other videos on online dating. Just type in online dating, Coach Eli, or dating apps, Coach Eli. There's videos on both those topics between both my channels, and you'll find them by doing a YouTube search. And I go into deep detail on those in those videos regarding how to truly handle online dating. I'm just giving you a brief synopsis of it here because I've already done it, and I'm just responding to these Reddit postings. All right, that's gonna do it for this one here. Let's go back to full screen. We're already at 1 hour and 27 minutes. We're going to be here for probably another 45 minutes to an hour. So it's a pretty long show, actually. Not bad. So let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music here. And take a quick break. Let's see. Let me see here. Just need one more. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away and take a quick break, probably 7 to 8 minutes or so. But when I return, I've got a couple more postings. We're going to be talking about most men are not that bad looking. Makeup and fillers, I think they meant to say filters, just skew people's perceptions. We're going to do that. And then we're going to get to the main topic finally. I'm 20 years old without a purpose in life. What do I do? I'm 20 years old without a purpose in life. What do I do? I actually responded to this young man out here on Reddit. I told him I'm going to do a video response for him on my YouTube channel. I can't wait to get to this one because this is what I was meant to do. This is what I'm more passionate about than anything. So stick around for that. And stick around for that. With that being said, we'll be right back. you have magic. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Rip it, baby, rip it. This is John Dealey within the quarter from the YouTube audio library. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get right back to it. All right. Welcome back. Am I back? Yeah, I'm back. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Live here on YouTube, live here on the main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, where I'm going to be broadcasting my in-studio live streams for at least another 3 weeks. Got to get some more content on this channel. Now, the Walking with Purpose live streams and streams with the members-only live streams with Don will continue on Coach Eli 2, and these in-studio streams will eventually return back to Coach Eli 2, but for now, like I said, the in-studio streams will be here, so just making you aware of that. There's no need to purchase a membership here on this channel because these are subscriber-only chats. On the main channel, though, you may want to purchase some memberships over there, so you can watch the streams with Don and I, members only. And my Walking with Purpose streams are members only live chats. So if you want to find out more about that, go to my other channel, Coach Eli 2, Authentic Live Streams. Link is below in the description. But tonight, or today, actually it's morning time right now. It is 7:16 a.m. Pacific time and 10:18 a.m. Eastern time. Today we've been talking about a man that feels no purpose plus more interesting dating stories. One more time, a man that feels no purpose plus more interesting dating stories. We've talked about two interesting dating stories. I've got a third one coming up right now to start off the second part of the show. And then we're going to get to the best part. A man that feels no purpose. We're going to be talking about a 20-year-old man that feels he has no purpose. I understand why. I felt the same way at that age. And I'll share my thoughts on his posting towards the end of the show, Nasty Jester says, Eli, you have the voice of a DJ. Well, thank you. I used to pretend to be a DJ when I was in my teenage years. I used to buy those 45 records. And I actually wanted to become a DJ or a talk show host when I was younger, but I didn't think it was going to be feasible to make it in Hollywood and all of that, so I went a different route. But when YouTube came out and social media came out, and now you can do this from the comfort of your own home, it allowed me to finally start to live my dream. Plus, also, I'm very passionate about helping people, and that's why I decided to do the coaching thing. So that's a little bit about me right there, but thank you so much for mentioning that, Nasty Jester. Let me make sure that the audio still sounds good before we continue here. Let me see. I understand why. I felt the same way at that age, and I'll share my thoughts on his posting towards the end of the show. Nasty Jester says, Eli, you have the voice of a DJ. Well, thank you. I used to pretend to be a DJ when I was... All right, all is rolling well. Let's get back over to the browser screen and continue here. All right. Let's go to the browser source. There we are. All right. Give me a second here, folks. There we go. This next posting is from the subreddit r/purple pill debate, one of my favorite subreddits. And the original poster's topic is, most men are not that bad looking. Makeup and fillers, or filters, I think is what he was trying to say, just skew people's perceptions. One more time, most men are not that bad looking. Makeup and fillers, or filters, just skew people's perceptions. And as you see below, sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators of our Purple Pill debate. Moderators remove posts from feeds for a variety of reasons, including keeping community safe, civil, and true to their purpose. Well, I always make a backup copy. I take a screenshot of any posting I'm going to talk about, because If I have a show planned and all of a sudden the moderators remove the posting, the comments still stick around and I can actually read the original posting. So let me switch on over and get on over to my image section here. There we go. There it is. Give me just 1 second here. So it's from Purple Pill Debate. Let me blow this up a little bit here as best as possible. All right. All right, here we go. Let's see if this was worthy of being removed. Nasty Jester, you're obviously happy in your own skin. People can learn from you, man. Well, yeah, I do the best I can to help people and make people happy. But as you know, there's lots of trolling going on YouTube, and I've been trolled severely. I'm sure you've known about me for a while, and I'm sure you've seen some of the things I've dealt with, but I've just learned to ignore it and continue focusing on what I enjoy doing to help people, and I really appreciate those kind words. I've seen people around here say that the reason men struggle with dating apps compared to women is that men are simply not attractive enough compared to women. Well, attraction, works the same way for both men and women. The problem is women are taking far better care of themselves in the modern world than men are. A lot of men nowadays are very scruffy. They don't shave. They don't wear decent clothing. They don't shower a lot. They don't use deodorant. They don't use cologne. They don't groom themselves. And women do that. And these men complain that, or they say women are more attractive. That's not necessarily the case. It's women take better care of themselves, right? And if you want to get an attractive, good-looking woman that takes care of herself, you should be an attractive, good-looking man that takes care of yourself as well, right? It works both ways. Why can't men understand that? I want to help men understand that, right? Looking around me, I agree. Most men are ugly AF compared to women. That's for the reasons I just mentioned. Men, if they stayed in decent shape, they groomed themselves, they wore decent clothing, they used cologne, deodorant, showered, etc., they would be attractive to women. That's the problem right there. That's it. However, we have to take into account how much our perception is skewed by makeup, fillers, or filters. Maybe fillers you're talking about makeup. I think you meant to say filters. And plastic surgery. I was never into the fake Barbie doll type of woman. I was never into fake boobs. I was never into plastic surgery. I've never been into too much makeup. I more so prefer a woman that's more considered a tomboy, doesn't wear a lot of makeup, is more sporty. But that's just insane. But even women that don't overdo it with the makeup and the filters and all of that, they still take far better care of themselves than most men do. If the average woman walked around barefaced and washed her face only with soap and shampoo, she wouldn't really look much better than the average guy. Well, that's probably true. But, is the average guy taking care of himself as best as possible? Could the average guy be above average if he took better care of himself, right? Just think about that, okay? However, I don't think the solution is for men to wear makeup, as a significant number of women would find this effeminate and off-putting. That's true, but there are products for men that can help them keep their skin hydrated and moisturized, right? I use a soap made by Irish Spring. I bought a lot of it before they discontinued it. It's Irish Spring with shea butter. And shea butter actually helps hydrate your skin and keep it looking good. I'm 50 years old, and I've got the skin of a 20 or 25-year-old. Dawn loves my skin. My girlfriend Dawn loves it. That doesn't make me effeminate. That makes me smart, right? So, yes, I mean, if you are overdoing it with lots of makeup to the level of what some women use, then that might be considered effeminate. But even women that use too much makeup has never been, attractive to me. Maybe hair transplants and some strategic Botox would do the trick, as they will allow men to still pretend to be natural. I started losing my hair in my mid-20s. I shaved my head. I have a shaved bald head. I love my bald head, but a lot of times I wear these nice hats because I love how hats look on me, right? But I've stayed in good shape. I have a nicely trimmed beard, and I don't have a whole lot of gray even at 50, but I use Just for Men, and it keeps me looking younger. I stay in shape. It keeps me looking younger. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm all that, but if you look at me compared to the average 50-year-old, I look a lot younger than the average 50-year-old. And I even look a lot younger than some men in their mid-30s and even in their mid-40s. I'm not saying that to show off. I'm saying that if you take care of yourself, if you love yourself as a man and take care of yourself, okay, you're going to stand out. And I consider myself an average guy. I don't consider myself to be the hottest guy in the world, but I also know I'm not an ugly guy either. And I have self-confidence. No way, you are 50, LOL, you look much younger. Yeah, no, I'm 50, bro. I just turned 50 in December 17th, 1973. Yeah, I'm 50 years old, dude. Yeah, I mean, why would a man lie about being older than he actually is, right? No, I'm actually 50 years old. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the actual page here where the comments still exist and read a few comments here. It is not makeup. It is the fact that the average man gets compared to celebrities and K-pop idols who all use surgeries, filters. He got it right, not fillers, filters, and makeup to maximize the illusion of perfect appearance. I see women bringing up good-looking celebrities like Steve Buscemi as examples of ugly men all the time, which just tells me their perception of reality is screwed. I think you meant to say skewed, right? I don't even know who Steve Buscemi is, but they're saying that he's ugly. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And it doesn't matter if you're a famous star or not. People are people, and attraction is attraction. And attraction is a must and not a choice. And if you're just yourself and you take good care of yourself, okay, even as an average looking person, if you're in decent shape, you wear decent clothing, you don't smell, you shower, use cologne, you use, deodorant, okay, and you have a good personality and you're laid back, you're not going to get every woman, but you will get a woman. And a lot of it is how you show up, mentally and emotionally, not just physically, right? Men think it's all about looks, and yes, looks are important, but the personality, the emotional intelligence of a man is attractive to women. Men that are emotionally aware and have emotional intelligence are going to stand out over men that are not. If you're an average looking man that dresses decent and you're emotionally intelligent, you're going to beat out super attractive men physically that have zero emotional intelligence. That's what you guys are not understanding. Women saying most men are ugly is a propaganda tool utilized by extreme feminists in order to get a leg up and a seat at the bargaining table. I don't know if I'd go that far. I just think women that say most men are ugly are just immature and insecure and just don't love themselves, because someone that loves themselves is not going to attack anyone, male or female, for that sake. Even if you're right, the average woman will still, even if you're right, the average woman still wouldn't want them. Well, again, if you're a man and you can't even get an average looking woman, I can understand the hot women are going to be the hardest ones to get. But do you even really want the hottest woman, right? But when you're talking about average women, if you're an average man and you can't get an average woman, okay, that means, you're not showing up, being emotionally aware, being emotionally intelligent, and you're not able to carry a conversation. You lack self-confidence, right? There's some type of flaw you're exuding beyond the physical looks. Fabulous Honest T says exactly. They don't realize that looking perfectly fine or not bad in no way constitutes physical attraction. Okay, I get that. Yeah, well, physical attraction is just something to get your foot in the door. If you don't have, intelligence, emotional awareness, if you're not a secure man and not insecure, you got to be secure and not insecure. That's a big turnoff for women, right? And you can't carry a conversation, right? Then you're just not gonna get any woman. You're expecting the average woman to be as horny as an average man. No, they are. If they're attracted to you, they are. And attraction goes beyond the physical. That's what you guys aren't getting. Okay? And that's a woman there saying that. Purple pill woman. Okay. That's funny. That's not going to happen. Men are as horny as they are to drive them. Men are as horny as they are to drive them to compete in a very difficult market. Women are wired to be very picky because pregnancy, birth, and infancy is so incredibly costly. You can shake your fist at the sky. That's fair. I'm sure it is not easy to face, just like I shook my fist at the sky while squeezing the baby through my vagina, and all that preceded and followed. We all have our crosses to bear. Okay. Fabulous Honest T says it has nothing to do with horniness. Most men find most women worthy of romantic attention, horny at the time or not. This is the inverse for women. Most men are entirely invisible as a romantic option to most women, horny or not. It appears like most men are invisible to, to most women because these men lack self-confidence and they're not showing up just being a reasonable, decent man that takes care of himself physically, is emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent, and can carry a conversation. You guys are missing the entire boat there. And I think these are a couple of women responding to this here. And that's all I'm going to read regarding this one. It looks like, I've gone through all these and it's pretty redundant what they're saying here. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to the final posting here. Check out the chat here real quick. LOL, Steve Buscemi is in all of Adam Sandler's movies. If you've seen Grown Ups, he's the guy that broke both of his arms and looks like a football goalpost. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that movie. I've seen some Sandler movies, but not all of them. AZ Prod furthermore says, dating overly attractive women is exhausting. You have to fight off all the other guys hitting on her, and she's probably going to expect a lot out of you. Yeah, I like easygoing, down-to-earth women. Dawn's a beautiful woman, and she's easygoing and laid back, and, she takes care of herself. She's got makeup and all that stuff, but she doesn't use it all the time, and she doesn't overly glamorize herself, and I love her for that. All right, let's get to this final posting here. This is from the subreddit r/askmen, and the original poster states his title as, I am 20 years old without a purpose in life. What do I do? One more time. I'm 20 years old without a purpose in life. What do I do? Well, you got to figure out what your purpose is. and focus on it, because your purpose is what defines you. Also, your purpose is what's most attractive to women. Okay? A lot of guys, I've said this before, I'll say it again. A lot of guys feel that a woman is a man's purpose. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. If you make a woman your purpose, women will pick up on that and they will fall out of love with you. They'll lose interest in you. They're just not going to be able to respect you. What women respect is a driven man that has goals, dreams, and aspirations, and, lives those goals, dreams, and aspirations, and keeps on pushing forward until he accomplishes all those goals, dreams, and aspirations. That's what's attractive to a woman. So we've got to help this guy find his purpose. At 20 years old, I had an idea of what my purpose was, but not as clearly as I do today. But with the amount of information now on the internet and guys like myself sharing my stories and experiences, it should make it a lot easier for these young men nowadays, to figure out their purpose sooner, start living it, and then having the life they want personally and professionally. I'm 20 years old. I have no hobbies or interests. I don't believe that, dude. I'm broke and I feel lost. Well, any man that feels broke is going to feel lost, right? Well, at 20 years old, either you're in college and working a part-time job or a full-time job that doesn't pay that well, or you're not in college and you're working a job, again, that's just not paying you well enough and you don't enjoy doing, right? You gotta work jobs you enjoy doing that also pay you well, right? At least enough to, make ends meet. And when you're starting out in your early 20s, most people start to work in their late teens and early 20s. You're not going to make good money. It's the stepping stone to getting better jobs. Make enough money to survive. Take a job that's going to, pay you as best as possible while you build your experience, but take a job that's going to pay you enough to pay your bills, and then strive to get promoted or look for better jobs in the meantime while you become more experienced. The more experienced you become, the better jobs you're going to get, the more pay you're going to get. I feel like every day I wake up, and if I work that day, I come here and sit for 8 to 9 hours and don't do anything. I'm a valet driver at a very low traffic hotel, so I spend most of my time on my computer or phone. Sounds like you have a very boring job that you don't engage with a lot of people. Okay, because a lot of valet drivers, they don't get a lot of business. Nowadays, a lot of people with inflation will self-park their cars. I never use valet. I never use valet parking. It's a lot of times it's free, but then you got to tip. And if you don't tip, $10, $20, then you're looked at as a cheap ass, right? So maybe the job you have, is not filling your cup financially and mentally and emotionally. Maybe try to get a job, inside the hotel and work your way up to management and get promotions. Make more money that way. If I don't have work that day, then I end up just sitting at home and getting high. Well, I'll tell you this. If you're in a depressed state and stuff, based on everything you said, smoking, smoking like marijuana is going to just make you feel worse. It's going to mask the pain temporarily, but when you come off that high, you're going to feel worse than before. I deleted my social media apps because I found myself with nearly 10 hours of screen time daily from doom scrolling for hours on end simply because I had nothing better to do. Well, you're not benefiting from social media because you're not using it to meet people, to make new friends, to keep in touch with old friends. It sounds like you're just in a real depressed state. And you're only 20 years old. You have so much life, further ahead of you. But you got to figure out what your purpose is. And your purpose is not a valet driver. And even working this valet job doesn't seem to be filling your cup financially or mentally or emotionally. You can change that. by getting a better job that you enjoy more, that even probably pays you more money than what you're making now. I try to go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, but other than that, I just sit at home. Why? I occasionally go out on weekends just because it's something to do, but I don't love it. Going to the bar to spend money, to spend more money, to go home and barely remember it and feel shitty the next day. Well, it sounds like you've got massive depression and anxiety issues. I'm not a doctor, but I'm assuming like you're struggling, with anxiety. Maybe you get panic attacks. Maybe you're depressed. You need to see a therapist. Like my advice for this guy, and if you actually end up watching this, I say this respectfully, you got to learn to love yourself better. You got to learn to have self-love deep within, no matter what. And if you've been struggling with this for a while, I'm sure other people have tried to help you. If it hasn't changed, you need to look into getting a therapist. Make sure you have insurance. Most insurance plans will cover your therapist, because if not, you're going to be paying on average $200 to $300 for an hour session each week, or maybe a couple times a month, depending on how many times you're going to see your therapist. But it sounds like to me that, you are dealing with some form of depression. And if you can't work through that on your own, you got to seek a professional that can help you with that. Now, I understand what you're going through, but I don't have the qualification or licenses to help you. They might need to put you on medication, right? You might need to go to a psychiatrist. There are therapists and there are psychiatrists. Typically, therapists can't prescribe you medication, but psychiatrists can. Okay? Get a primary care physician. If you don't have one, get insurance. And it's going to cost money, but you got to find a way to pay for it, or get your family to help you. Get insurance. Get a primary care physician. Go see your primary care physician, and they will refer you to the right doctors at the medical facility. And they can even refer you to a psychiatrist, a therapist, or both. My girlfriend Dawn has a psychiatrist and a therapist, and it has changed her life. She struggled with some things even later on in life, and they've made a world of difference. You got to do the same thing. I don't have a sense of purpose. Obviously, it's because you're depressed and you don't have self-love. If you don't have self-love, nothing matters, right? I'm not in school and I hate my job. That's obvious. You can change that. I've had 3 different jobs in the last 6 months because I can't seem to keep myself interested or stimulated at these boring-ass retail jobs where I stand around and complete meaningless, busy work tasks, or even worse, sit and do absolutely fuck all. Maybe start a YouTube channel, dude, and start sharing your thoughts on YouTube. Maybe that'll give you purpose. But you can't keep on, kicking yourself down. You got to figure out what you enjoy doing and try to find a job in a field regarding something you enjoy doing. I'm at work right now. I'm not even supposed to be on my phone. I haven't talked to anyone all day, and I've been here for almost 6.5 hours at this point. Some days I just come in here and sleep, and no one notices I even exist. Wow. Let me read the chat here real quick. Wow. AT Prod says the less makeup, the better. I agree. Going back to the previous posting regarding women that wear too much makeup. Nasty Jester. Men need to play hard to get to an extent. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say play hard to get like women do, but you can't go into meeting a woman expecting anything. You got to go in there being cool, calm, and collected and not expect shit, right? You can't show up like a sick puppy dog. You got to just be cool, calm, and collected and see what happens. When you meet a woman for the first time, both you and her are going to know within 3 seconds if there's attraction. Attraction is a must and not a choice. If there's attraction there, it'll just sort itself out, right? But I get what you're saying. Men need to approach women in ways that don't come off weak, needy, desperate, or insecure. If you come off weak, needy, desperate, or insecure, that'll turn off women. That's the problem. Sabrina Garza, sorry this is off topic, but I know you and Don are country music fans. Did you hear Toby Keith passed away? No, I did not. Wow. Wow, I did not hear that. Oh my God. Wow. Toby Keith dies at 62 after stomach cancer battle. Wow. I'm going to tell Dawn she's sleeping right now. God rest your soul, Toby Keith. Toby Keith was pure 90s country. Legendary. I'm looking at the Google. Well, it's showing the Twitter postings. One posting, too many rides in my old man's car listening to Toby Keith. Really hard thing to hear. Rest in peace, friend. We love you. Yeah, God bless you, Toby Keith. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Sabrina. Wow. Nasty Jester says stomach cancer. Yep. Nasty Jester, this is great advice. Starting a YouTube channel can be productive for even introverts. Oh, it can. It'll give you a purpose, and it'll help you step out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. I know that I'm not supposed to have everything figured out by now, but man, does it feel like I've got it way less figured out than everyone else. When I was in my 20s, and even in my late teens and early 20s, I was playing poker with my guy friends. I had a high school sweetheart. I was working at a movie theater, and I really loved my job. And then I started working for Costco wholesale in my at 20 years old. Costco is one of the best paying retail jobs back then. You have to find something that you love, right? And if there's nothing that you have figured out that you love by the time you hit 20, I don't know what happened in your childhood. Maybe your parents sheltered you. Maybe you came from a broken household where your mother or father wasn't in the picture, right? It sounds like to me you were probably raised by a single mother, and you didn't have that father figure to teach you the importance of having a purpose, right? So honestly, if that's the case, I don't know. If you want to respond to the Reddit posting, and I'll keep an eye on it, you can respond under I'm Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, even in the Reddit forums. You can ask me any questions you want. I'll help you free of charge. I will not charge you. I will help you free of charge. I feel for you. But I think this stems probably back to your childhood or something, and you probably need to get therapy, man. Seriously. And don't be ashamed to get therapy. You sound like a decent dude, but you sound really depressed. And I don't think you sound depressed to the point of where, you don't want to live. I think you do want to live, but it sounds like you're just, doing what you can to barely get by and hoping that you're going to figure it out one of these days. And your first step was actually making this posting. I'm actually glad you made this posting. Now, if you, saw my comment under this thread and you want to follow my channel and come around here, I'd be happy to help you. You can come in the chats and I'll answer all your questions, no charge. I know that I'm not supposed to have everything. Okay, I already read that. I've never been able to answer the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? See, for me, I knew I wanted to be like a DJ or a talk show host. But I also knew that wasn't going to happen right away if it ever were to happen, right? I knew that being a famous DJ or a famous, Hollywood TV talk show host or something like that, was going to be pretty hard to accomplish, right? So I started working and doing other things, right? And then all of a sudden, Web 2.0 came out, and over the last 15 years, we've had YouTube and other social media video and audio sites to the point of where you can create podcasts, you can do live streams on YouTube like I am here, you can do pre-recorded videos, you can have people on panels. I'm now living my dream. I'm living my dream doing this right now, and I'm filling my purpose. This is what my purpose is. I knew what my purpose was or what I wanted it to be, but I hadn't fulfilled it yet because it was a pretty hard purpose to fulfill. And I struggled with a lot of things you did as well. But I did work those retail jobs, but I found retail jobs that paid well, and I actually enjoyed doing them, and I loved the people I was working with. But to me, it sounds like, your issues stem from your childhood, the way you were raised. No disrespect to your parents. But again, I think you came from a broken household, if I had to guess. Could be wrong. Maybe you can let me know in the comments section, and we can go from there. But yeah, I think you definitely need a psychiatrist and a therapist, or psychiatrist, therapist, or both. If you don't have health insurance, get health insurance, and join a medical facility that has lots of doctors, and get a primary care physician that can refer you to all the specialists you need for your health, including your mental health, with a psychiatrist and or a therapist. I feel like I've never had goals or aspirations other than the fact that I want to have enough money to be comfortable and buy nice things for myself and the world. That's very reasonable. That's what every man wants, right? That's what every man and woman wants in life now. So that's a good thing. That's a positive thing to say. I'm going to give you a big round of applause. There you go. It's a very positive thing to say. Nasty Jester, Eli, what do you do for a living if it's what I'm at? This is what I do for a living. I'm a retired insurance broker. And I have other income sources that, I do part-time. I don't disclose a lot of that anymore because people troll. But this is what I do. This is what I do for a living. I have 2 monetized channels on YouTube, and I have other income sources that pay my bills, while I build this. I'm still building this. It's nowhere near the level of where I'd like it to be, but I continue to move forward. I've been doing this 6 years, and I'm going to keep doing it for the rest of my life. And eventually it'll get to where I want it to get to. But thanks for asking. I don't think you're trolling there. Maybe you are, because my trolls would ask a question like that. But this is what I do for a living. This is my main thing. I do have other income sources, though. And I used to sell insurance, and I had a good book of business that I sold. I reinvested that money and live off of that. But thank you for asking. In all fairness and transparency. All right. Let me see here. Nice. Thank you. I just want to make money. Yeah, everyone does. But here's the thing. If all you're focused on is making money any way you can, you're never going to be happy. You have to enjoy what you do. And that's the problem people have. That's why you've been through so many jobs. You just don't like what you do. Right? But that's not what life is about, and I know that. Well, you need money to survive, but you can't make life all about money. Okay? But you do need it to survive. I think life is to be happy and find your purpose, but both of those seem scarce right about now. You just haven't figured it out yet. You'll figure it out. You made the right step by coming out to Reddit and posting about it. You have 162 comments. And you have me making a video stream on this, dude. So think about it. You did the right thing. Congratulations to you. Good job. You're going to get a lot of good advice here. I guess I'm not sure what I'm asking here. You're asking for help. You're asking to be pointed in the right direction because I don't think you had a father in the picture. Maybe your father was around, but not around enough. Or maybe he just wasn't the best father. But there's something lacking in your parenting for you to be feeling this way. And that's okay, man, because we can still help you. It's never too late to turn things around. Maybe some advice on how to solve any of these problems. That's all I've been doing. Go back and keep watching this stream over and over again until you start doing the things that'll turn your life around and will help you figure out your purpose. Maybe just someone out there that relates to me. Yeah, I used to be just like you when I was younger. Maybe not as I don't want to say bad. That's not the right word to use. Maybe I wasn't as lost as you are, but pretty close. But I understand where you're coming from, and there are many men at your age nowadays that struggle with the same thing. Hopefully someone older with some life experience can help me. Here I am, 50 years old. Please ask me any questions. Come to my channels, comment here. Let me know that you're the guy from the Reddit posting, or respond to my comment under Coach Eli on Reddit on the posting. And who knows, maybe I'll private message you, dude. I really want to help you. Hopefully someone, I'll be read that. If you've read this far, thank you, I guess. I don't know. I just need a rant. And strangers on the internet seemed like the best course of action. Well, I don't want you to think of us as strangers. I want you to think of us as partners in crime, figuratively speaking, right? Meaning that we've all been through this. Every man goes through this at one point in their life. Some struggle with it greater than others. You're struggling with it far greater than most other men that have struggled with it. Because I'm sure there's probably something lacking in your childhood, which is not your fault, dude. And for you to come out here and, write this out, God bless you. I don't know if you believe in God. I do. Still love you if you don't, but God bless you regardless, because you took the first step. And taking the first step is what's going to start to turn your life around. Wonderful, dude. Let me read a couple comments here, and then I'm going to go off the air. So get any final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat, folks. We're at 2 hours and 22 minutes. Let's see here. Any new comments here? No. We're good. 14 in the box. Thank you so much for being here. 20 is still pretty much a youngin'. Your brain doesn't even finish developing until 25, which is weird. Society pressures kids into a career choice at 18. Half of them end up changing their major along the way because it's not what they want to do. Most men are still going to be trying to figure out their purpose at age 20, even throughout their 20s. But this guy sounds depressed. He sounds like he's miserable. He sounds like he's unhappy, and he doesn't want to be unhappy anymore. It sounds like he wants to make more money, but he doesn't know how to do it based on his experience, which isn't a lot of experience, right? And here's the thing. Even with less experience, if you have a great personality and you're confident and you're not depressing, jobs may end up hiring you, at higher paying jobs, at better jobs, just because you're confident, and they'll train you. But you've got to have a great personality, and you have to have confidence, and you can't be depressed. No one's going to want to hire someone that's depressed into a higher paying, better position, right? You turn around your depression and your life will change, right? That's why I think you need therapy, dude. In my opinion. I say that respectfully. And then a ton of them end up in jobs that don't even use a degree. Yeah, degrees don't really matter nowadays unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that requires a degree, or a nurse or whatever, right? And you can even start your own business online. You can create a YouTube channel and make content. Talk about things that you're passionate about. Start a channel and talk about Men that are struggling, men in their 20s that are struggling with their purpose. Something like that. You'll get a lot of traction, man. You get a lot of men that will relate to you, and it will make you feel like you have a purpose. Maybe that is your purpose. To help other men that are struggling with the same thing you are. Create a collective. That's what I'm going to be doing. Let's see here. All right, a couple more here. Employers want you to be in your 25s. I've never heard that. In your mid-20s. Employers want you to be in your 25s. The grammar today with these young bucks is horrible. It should be employers want you to be at least 25 years old and have 10 years of experience. So yeah, better be grinding early. That's not necessarily true, but what you're saying in other words is the more experience you have, as you get older, you're going to get better paying jobs based on that experience. That's a better way to put it. The idea that the brain finishes developing at 25 is a myth. That is true. That is true in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what age stops developing. It's probably different for everyone. I'm not a doctor, so my opinion is that your statement is true there. Why people are so against accepting it as a myth. Everyone has their opinions. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. That's all. 2 more, and then we're going off the air. Get any final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat at this time if you'd like me to answer them. Pop Punkin Pizza says, it is wild that this has just become a thing people think they know, despite it just not being true at all. Clearly, it expresses something that people want to express and feel is true, but as typically expressed, this factoid is just pseudoscience. I don't even know what to say about that. That was worded too nerdy, man. Like, you got to speak more plain English for people to understand, because I'm not even understanding what you meant by that. Talking about brain development? I think that's what he was saying. I got nothing to respond to that. Red Jive 1943 says, I'm 21 and I went through 3 years of engineering because I wanted to be an inventor ever since I was in 2nd grade. I just recently switched majors to flying, and I'm so happy I did. Yeah, you figured it out, and so will this guy. And that's where I'm going to wrap this up. Ginger Baby 12173. Ginger Baby sounds like a female name. I don't see Ginger Baby responding to any of this. And I'm not even seeing where my posting is at. I thought this was a man, but it could be a woman. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a man. Yeah, I can't really tell. It probably is a man, but it sounds like a female Reddit name. Yeah, you don't mention your gender here, but hey, you know what? The same thing applies to women as applies to men in this situation. So that is that. But anyway, Ginger Baby 12173. If you're here on my channel, feel free to comment. Feel free to come to my live streams. Make sure you subscribe to my other channel. Besides this one here, this is Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, my main channel. I have another live streaming channel where I do Walking with Purpose streams almost daily, where you can come in there and ask any questions. So subscribe to that, and I'd be willing to help you free of charge, because this is something I'm most passionate about. All right, we are at 2 hours and 29 minutes. We're going to wrap this up right when we hit 2.5 hours. Thank you to everyone for being here. Nasty Jester, thank you for being here. Thank you to AZ Prod for being here. Thank you to Cynthia for being here earlier, and Sandra Palasa for being here, and also Sabrina Garza, and anyone else watching and not commenting. With that being said, I will more than likely be back later this afternoon on the main channel, not on the main channel, on the secondary channel, Coach Eli 2 Authentic Life Streams for our Walking with Purpose stream. So make sure you're subscribed there, you bang the bell, and select all notifications. Don and I will probably do a members-only live stream probably on Friday or Saturday of this coming week on Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. Again, link below in the description. Moose Jr., good morning, everyone, and have a good one. We're about to wrap this up. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each all. Let's go back to full screen and say, be good to each other.